because we have two of the best. We have two of the best that Jersey has to offer. LeoN versus Jakal, the Bowser Wolf matchup. Ajax. I mean, what else can you say about it?
You really hit it right home with the brokener there, huh? It's like brain falling apart, but you know what?
I figured it would be. I mean, it's apt if nothing else, right?
Fair enough. But right now we got obviously something that could break a lot of brains. We got both Bowser and Wolf. Wolf being one of the go-to characters in terms of when you try to pick up a top tier, you look at like a Palu, you look like a Wolf. Those are the anti-fun characters, we'll say. If you play a low tier, sorry, but if when you run into someone like Wolf, it's so difficult. However, not a low tier on the other side, best heavy in the game, and of course, we said before, someone who's really hard to condition because he has no fear. It is going to be LeoN, and fighting against Light, we saw how good Jakal could be today. Yeah. But do we see that same type of aggressive play that he was doing before, that amazing ledge trap and conditioning? Or is he going to be able to even shut down LeoN? How are you feeling about this one, Koopa?
It's going to be hard. And look, as someone that knows both of these guys, very well, we all know each other very well around the area. It's going to be hard. Jakal usually wins, but lately I just talked to him before, and he's like, I've beaten him before, but LeoN's just super good, man. You can't sleep on him. Both these guys, LeoN once on the PGR, Jakal a PGR caliber player. It's going to be a lot of fun. The time skip has been kind to both of them. Jakal with a mean flow.
No.
LeoN with the mean Canadian tuxedo.
No.
It's going to be a party here.
That
is
yeah.
That ain't a space animal. That is Final Fantasy.
I could not have been the only one who heard that.
I think you were the only one. Man, you know what? Your brain's not so broken after all. Your hearing's still working.
I suppose that or just all my other senses are dulled, so my hearing's on point. But either way, we're going to get right into it. Pokemon Stadium 2 for game number 1. The Shadow Flare on Bowser and going to attack right there. And, I mean, so many things that can get around the tough guy that Sephiroth provides. Bowser, I feel like you're just going to have a tough time here.
I mean, here's the thing, though. The fact that Sephiroth weighs absolutely nothing because I don't know why. They wanted to go glass cannon route in this character. Even though he's extremely good at keeping out characters like Bowser, obviously, LeoN knows how to get around counters. A big thing is, can you defeat Whirling Fortress on its way back up? Is he going to be able to condition him that way? And is he going to be able to pressure him with those things like that side B? And so far, it's just been LeoN's show because he's been playing not that scared of those options.
Yeah, and honestly, I would be thinking picking Sephiroth. There we go. That nice, hugely disjointed up air. Going to go ahead and secure the first stock. But I feel like Jakal hasn't successfully kept LeoN out much, if at all, right? Like, LeoN just getting in. And you have these giant disjoints, and you're not able to keep out Bowser. That means you're in for a world of hurt.
Yeah, I do think the glass cannon approach against Bowser is not a bad idea. You saw it almost work out for the cat earlier, and it's worked out in the past as the side B will connect right there. But, if it's definitely one of those things where it's like, as, F-Tilt claims that second stock from Sephiroth, it's like, hey, listen, if you're going to kill me at 60, I'm also going to try to kill you at 60. So, right now it's not necessarily working out for Jakal, but...
Oh, not again. Okay.
Hey!
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, thank you.
He's got recovery.
He's got wings.
Oh, man.
And
Red Bull, baby.
Yeah, one of the things with this matchup, too, is that there is still the wing mechanic you have to respect. Even though he's kind of been playing a very slow approach to this matchup stuff. It definitely seems like he's not completely warmed up in the Sephiroth yet, because you kind of need to play Sephiroth constantly hopping around someone who's like a Bowser. You need to make them scared of shielding, but he hasn't really conditioned that yet. But one wing, plenty of armor on that at the right times, and some solid kill power, especially off stage because he's got that third jump. He can chase Bowser.
I'm wondering, is it going to be enough here? The up airs for the juggles goes for a read there, and
LeoN
says,
that,
you know what, bet.
He wanted that down air so bad he bet the farm on it. Stu, how did you like that as we go back to the replays and run this through?
I mean, it's just interesting when you see it. A couple of Meadowview moments in this one, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, this final one, even it up at one stock apiece. The wherewithal for the recovery. Might as well go for it, but I mean, just grabbing right through it. And that's the thing. LeoN knows that this character can get gamed. It's just the nature of the beast. It's the deal with the devil that you sign when you choose to main a heavy. And LeoN, through it all, just going to grab and, yeah, Flying Slam is their bread and butter.
Yeah, and immediately abandoning ship right there, and going back to the bread and butter, the Wolf. Again, not a bad choice at all. At the low percent, Wolf is going to excel.
Oh my
Again, you
God.
don't have to worry about stuff like that. My heart just fell into a deeper part of my chest.
Yeah, no, I def died for a second there.
I mean, look, most of this building got hit by that. Right now, that is just something. Like, you can see the matchup familiarity in LeoN right now. Even though he's behind in percent, you still have to be very scared if you're Jakal here. If he gets one of those back airs like that, if it was closer to the ledge, that could have been the KO. But Jakal meeting him off stage with the Nair. Unfortunately for him, though, a little bit too far off stage. And that is a trade-off of 66% compared to 120. But you wanted to keep that lead on LeoN.
You know, Philly text that. So we're just going to say, no, not able to get that crab. But, yeah, Jakal, once again, just on the warpath, and they were more than happy to sacrifice that stock if it means sending a message. Jakal not above playing mind games as well. And, I mean, it could well be to their gain. It's just a matter of if they can consistently get these and punish these landings that LeoN seems to be content on landing with a button more often than not.
Yeah, and so far it's not quite working out for Jakal here. Still looking for that KO. That's going to be a flying slam. It's not going to be enough to KO, but a good amount of damage and positioning here for LeoN. Oh my gosh, goes for the Bowser bomb yet again, but actually gives Jakal positioning. Oh, it's going to be a back throw. Yeah.
Yeah, again, this is where you need to be careful. Of course, you know, Wolf, his aerials are so potent, but the back air will erase Bowser off the top of the screen. But, you know, it's that double-edged sword. It's like, hey, you know, I have to go in order to get my damage, of course. But at the same time, you have to be so mindful that Bowser can also, you know, have his way with you if you misplace something on his shield.
Yeah, right now we're in that window of he who pulls the trigger first probably loses. You have the out-of-shield game. That's so good from both of them, but if you're Jakal, you have to make sure you capitalize big on all the right moments, because then you get hit like that. Shout out to that side B as well as jump frame squat side B. It's just so difficult to deal with Bowser in these situations, because as we were saying before, the fear factor at high percent is so scary, Stu.
I mean, the fact that you have to fight not just a heavy, but one with frame data whose frame data isn't horrible.
Like, you also got speed too. He run up on you like he is like a smaller character. Wow, he can't run up on after that F tilt though.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be Jakal running the fade. I mean, the thing is, I definitely have to respect the Sephiroth pick. I do think, in fact, in a vacuum, it's the correct call, because you maybe aren't as confident in the Wolf. Maybe LeoN is a little too familiar with your style of play, and even though you've obviously grown just a little bit, that victory against Light is proof positive of that enough. I just don't think, I can't blame him for going Sephiroth game number 1, but I think we definitely know they're going with game number 3 and here on out.
Yeah, and I think the easier thing for Jakal here is just like the punish game flowchart on Bowser is so much easier to execute with Wolf than it is for Sephiroth. Like, you get a stray hit from pretty much any aerial on Wolf, and your brain just automatically knows what to do from there.
Yeah, the flowchart is definitely very expansive, you know, on a heavyweight like Bowser. It's why the heavyweight combos don't count on Twitter.
Yeah.
For that same reason. But at the same time, you know, you do reach a certain percent. I feel like all the space animals have this problem where, like, you know, your true stuff stops working and you kind of have to make a read or react to something in neutral in order to get the kill off. So, you know, hopefully that doesn't become too much of a factor. But right now, Jakal at the early percentage of this game doing pretty well.
I mean, if you're telling Jakal that he has to react to something, that's not something that they're going to complain about, because the kid has some insane reflexes. You've been hyping this kid's natural ability for quite some time now, ever since since before they knew how to drive, honestly. And yeah, this journey that they have been on, Ajax, is nothing short of remarkable, but it's not to speak ill of LeoN's journey as well. It's just gone a little bit further thus far, and not in the literal sense, though. Certainly that the arc on that up smash.
Quite the incredible journey he took with that stock. He got hit not only by that F tilt at ledge, but then also was able to live off the top as well and find his opening. Wow. And this matchup really is just like, you need to have somebody who could control advantage versus a character who wins in 3 interactions with Bowser. So you need to capitalize every single time. And I think that this run back to Wolf obviously is working much better, but because of stuff like that, instead of going for a side B, you are now juggling Bowser with the lead. And I mean, look, eventually you're going to get hit by that downer.
That's LeoN special, man. He's one of the best in the business for going for that, you know, downer at a disadvantage. You know, now, and especially in an era where stall and falls aren't a thing anymore, you know, he still managed to be very effective with it.
Oh, man, you got a quick 42. Oh, grabbed him again. All right.
Can we get another?
I was going to say, for the fans, por favor. I'm going to go ahead and try to close the distance here. Looks like we're not going to see it quite yet, But, I mean, LeoN's out here swinging, dude. That back air, oh my god, that DI. Oof,
Yeah,
Yes.
he's gone, bro.
Finally, he has been holding off on drop zone fair for quite a while now. He's like kind of just like holding that ledge, going for F tilt. Obviously, you don't want to give him stage position too much, but he caught him slipping. And the get up attack to answer that, I got a huge claw too. Like, Stu, how you feel? Well, I mean, Sabi, how you feeling about Jakal's like position here, and what can he do to get the run back?
I mean, it's not impossible. I mean, any of those raw bears could very well work, those short hop bears, but LeoN knows better. They know to hold shield, and at this point, it really is kind of LeoN's game to lose. They're just in such a dominant position with a character that is meant to dominate. What? They're just doing that for the MetaView app at this point. And the Flying Slam is going to be a rather industrious way to clean up that game number 3. And Jakal and LeoN with the immediate understanding that they are running it back. Koopa, I can't say that I blame him for wanting it.
Yeah, I don't blame him either. I'm sorry, did he do a reverse A press, or did he just jump from the ledge? I think he just jumped. But it happened so fast, it's just like, what just happened here? Oh, God.
Top 5 scariest moments in this game. Look at that. It's just so menacing on his way back down. And somehow the ledge jump actually worked out in his favor, forced him to go high back up. But now we're getting into this next game. One game apiece in this best. Currently LeoN up 2 in this best of 5. Jakal, I still feel very good about this Wolf. I think it is an incredible pick. But one thing is when you get bodied by LeoN like that with a pure 0 to death, it is very hard to get back mentally in the set.
Yeah,
13 seconds.
Yeah, yeah, and we saw LeoN, do that in his clinching game against the cat as well, wasting no time. And, it might not look as flashy, with Bowser. It's only 6 hits
Yeah.
in the total of it, but it's still very, very effective. And LeoN has been so good at making statements today where he's like, all right, you're on the ropes. I'm going to go for the knockout punch as early as humanly possible.
And one of the tough things, too, is for Jakal, even though I was mentioning how the flow chart can be pretty easy for Wolf, depending on the DI on like a falling fair from LeoN, sometimes you're just kind of forced to juggle him up toward the sky when you want to carry him sideways towards the blast zone. And in those scenarios, it's like, okay, you got the damage, but now you don't really have the positioning that you wanted.
Yeah, for Bowser, you want him at the ledge. Much like that for Bowser as well against Wolf. That is now 3 stocks up to 1. LeoN is looking so comfortable in the set, and we're going to be seeing a whole lot of that right there because he has 2 stocks up. He's going to be willing to trade. Up smashes will be online. These rolling fortresses will be on deck, but that is finally a tech directly in place of Wolf, and that is already a scary enough position, but Jakal got the right call, and the game is over. There you go. The LeoN special. Get him with the flying press, this time taking him right off the side with no percent on deck. What an incredible play from LeoN, able to shut down what was a really good run from Jakal today.
Yeah, I mean, look, at that point, it's just a simple game of math. It's like, I have, I had 4 biscuits and then I ate one. Now I only have 3. Like, it's one of those things you have to live with. And as we take a look once again at the MetaView moment, boy, that animation looks very funny when you look at it in slow motion.
Yeah.
Primary Lotus. Okay. You got it, man.
Yeah, but again, like you mentioned, very impressive run from Jakal. Again, a lot of these guys are shaking off a lot of off. Let's take a look at this. Woo!
Wow.
But yeah, these guys are still shaking off, a lot of. It can't be said enough, man. Both these guys are so good. It's so nice to see them, them competing, in person. Like we mentioned, Jakal did not enter a lot of Wi-Fi tournaments. I think only entered like 1 or 2 throughout the course of the pandemic. LeoN entered a handful and, did okay. Like we mentioned, qualified for the offline portion of the Smash World Tour. But, it's been, I feel like, a lot of learning between, a lot of these guys where it's like, some of these guys have gotten kind of a couple months head start, a handful of them going to locals still. And, you're seeing who are the people that are kind of shaking off the rust, trying to get used to the speed of the game again. And speaking of speed, guys, like we're this next match could be over in like maybe less. Like I like to call it like rice. My rice is still cold in the middle. Matches where it's like it's still like it happens so fast that you don't know what just happened in front of you, and we're gonna